let's go ahead and start off today, laying all the way down onto our backs. Just like normal, good, deep, comfortable breaths flowing into the body. Enjoying this wonderful, relaxing exhale back out. Keep this breath flowing like this as I start to explain our intention for today. Earlier on in almost the first week of this quarantine with the COVID-19, I taught a class about balancing the Vata energy. So Vata is a word we use in Ayurveda. That's when we get too much space and too much air, such that we become super either spacey or just ungrounded, very stressed and anxious. That kind of energy is when we're unbalanced with Vata. Now, I feel like at this point in our quarantine, it's almost like we've swung to the opposite end, where there's some people that I've been chatting with recently that are talking about how, you know what, this is actually pretty nice. I'm not, like, what if we stay exactly like this, where we never have to leave our home, we never really have to get out of PJs, you know, this is actually not too bad. And there's a lot of people swinging toward that end of the spectrum. So that part in Ayurveda, we would call that energy the Kapha energy. Kapha is a combination of water and earth element. So extremely heavy, very dense energy. We tend to naturally become a bit more Kapha in the winter when we become lethargic. Think of the bears that hibernate during the winter. And it just becomes more of a lazy time and, you know, not really doing anything, maybe gaining a few extra pounds in the body. That's all the Kapha energy. And interestingly, I feel like we're heading toward this Kapha energy in relation to this quarantine right now, where it's like we kind of want to just like stay stagnant for the rest of our life and not have to be too energized ever again. And so today our intention is going to be working on the other end, on balancing this Kapha energy, balancing some of that heaviness. Part of it is with the ways that we're taking the flows today. Part of it is focusing on making sure the hips are stretched. That's where a lot of Kapha will tend to accumulate. And part of it getting, you know, our heart flowing just a little bit, get our breath flowing, get some of those things moving again, so that way the stagnation isn't so capturing, all consuming. And so that Kapha energy is that's what's going to lead us in toward our beautiful class that we're going to share together. So with that idea, to help us get started, let's begin bringing the knees in toward the chest. A hand on each knee. Do a few nice little circles for that low back, circles for the hips. I always like to start with this simple kindness for the body. Just helping it feel good, feel open, feel as if it can, you know, begin to take more things onto the body. Good, so enjoying another wonderful breath in. And from here, we're going to start off not too difficult, just a simple little core movement. Let's curl the forehead in toward the knees. With our inhale, stretch the toes toward the base of the mat, the arms up toward the head of the mat. Exhale, curl the arms, circle the arms to the sides like wings, curling around, lift that forehead all the way in. And so again, inhale, stretch. Exhale, start to curl in. Now it would be easy to add lots of reps here, just going inhale, exhale, but see if you can go slow. How slow can you make that inhale while you're making it work just a little bit? And how slow can you make that exhale, ending with that last bit of air coming out of the lungs at the same time that you touch the forehead in. Long inhale, completely full lungs, long exhale, all the way in. Let's take 3 more just like that. head drops back down, bring both hands around the right knee, sliding left leg long. And we're rocking around this right hip a little bit. At first, we're keeping both hands still tucked around that right knee. And we're swinging the knee as far right as we can go with both hands clasped. And then swinging it left as far as we can go with the hands not adjusting. So going right and left. Just start to tune into that hip area, bringing a little bit more liveliness through that area of our body. Going 3, 2, 1, and then releasing the clasp. Go 3 more times, even wider, as wide as you can go now to the right without the left hand. Bringing it up, bring it all the way into a twist, lifting at the up, as far over to the left as that knee can go. Back up and over to the right, super far and wide. Back up, all the way to the left in the twist. And one more time. This time when it goes to the left, stay a little bit longer in the twist. Remember, don't lift the right shoulder off the ground. Okay, hips back down to the earth, straighten this right leg up to the sky. Moment, just a simple little stretch for the hamstrings. With our release, this straight leg travels all the way to the earth. Second knee comes in, hands clasp around the knee. With the hands staying in that clasp, we let the knee travel all the way left and all the way right. Just kind of starting to rock out that joint area. Three more of these. 3, 2, 1. And then releasing just one hand at a time helps it out. Go wide to the left. Lift it up all the way over into the twist to the right. The knee trying to go as far as it can. 2 more of those. Super far left. And then all the way right. 1 more. Good. Heading over to the right. Just stay in that beautiful twist. Inhale. Exhale, we start to bring the hips back down. The leg gets to stretch up to the sky. Hands grab on the back side of the leg, giving it permission to straighten upward. Enjoy another huge inhale. Exhale, bring both knees into the chest. Hands on the back side of the knees. We're rolling like a ball a few times. Rock up, roll back. Just tuning into the spine. How does the spine feel at this moment? Sometimes that's more of what needs our attention. So just tune into it so we can be kind to it through our practice today. The next time we're up, we're staying in boat pose, finding a balance. The hands come in toward the heart. The toes extend outward as the back lowers down just a little bit. When we bring the knees back in, we're touching the right elbow to the outside of left thigh. Extend out, touch the left elbow to outside of right. Out, touch, out, touch. Anytime the knees come in, that's our exhale. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cobbler's pose. Lift the spine up and over to completely release. Feel how using the core in those gentle ways that we've been doing, it helps to ignite some of the fire within our belly, that fire in our torso. The element of fire can be very helpful for getting us out of the earth. Think of wood. If you want to transform the wood, you have to add fire in. And that completely changes it to a whole nother level of existence. So that's kind of what we're doing. We're introducing a little bit of fire. Not enough to create a wildfire where then our fire element in our body is becoming out of balance, but enough to heat us up, warm us up, get us going. It's like cooking a stew, you know, after a certain point, it starts to bubble and it starts to simmer and then it becomes nutritious for you. Take another huge inhale. Good exhale. From here, we start to sit all the way up. We're picking the knees up, planting the hands behind us, and let's get the hips off of the earth, starting to help the hips find some of the element of air, letting it touch through that area. And so what we're doing is we're lifting the hips up and then lowering them down. The arms can stay locked straight. This is not so much about the arm strength as it is about the core, lifting all the way up as high as you can and then lowering, coming all the way to tabletop, traveling down. Here's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, stay 3 extra breaths. One more inhale, one more exhale. When we lower down, go back to cobbler shape with the legs, opening the hips like that. But we're trying to just stay upright with our torso. From that upright position, hands holding onto the legs or to the ground, wherever it's helpful, we're going to take a twist over the left knee. So maybe the right hand makes its way to the foot, or maybe all the way to the outside of the left thigh. The other hand is behind us. We straighten the spine upward as we gently let the spine twist around itself. Spine lifts back up, returning through the center. Have both hands evenly on the ankles to help the spine be reminded to be even taller if possible. And from here, we take the second side. Left hand goes to the right ankle or the right thigh. The other hand is behind us. Lift the spine up, inhale, exhale, twist. Trying to gaze over that shoulder. Another beautiful inhale. Exhale, we begin to return. Cross the ankles. Come up and over onto hands and knees. This is another spot to give that beautiful kindness to our spine. So let the vertebrae round all the way upward, and then belly down, gaze up. Exhale. Inhale. This element of air through the breath can help bring liveliness to the dense muscle tissues. Exhale and inhale. 3 more rounds. Good. Spine returns back to neutral. Feel the core engaging, already becoming nice and tight, very strong for us. From here, we're going to lift up to down dog, but not in our normal way. Instead, we lift our knees inches at a time. So we tuck the toes under, plant the hand as wide as your shoulders, and we begin to lift the knees up just about 2 inches, hovering above the ground. Pause right there. Keep on breathing. Lift 2 inches higher. Two inches higher. And here, the hips reach as high as they possibly can. And then we start working through wiggling out the legs, straightening one leg, straightening the other. Just pedal yourselves out several times. Maybe one more cycle for each leg. And then from here, begin to float the right leg directly up to the sky. Feel that length, feel it reaching up high. And step that right foot in between the hands. From here, we take lizard pose. So start to heel toe the right foot a little bit further to the right side, so both hands can be on the inside. Hips start to lower. You're welcome to take this strong version, just keeping that back knee floating. Or you can go more for the flexibility version, where we drop the back knee down and maybe lower one or both elbows down. Find a version that works for you based on how your energy is right now. Start to come back up onto the hands. Bring the right foot back in toward the center of the mat. Lift up the back knee. Pause here just a couple of breaths, trying to lower the hips slightly closer to the ground. Feeling that extra fire through the legs. And then from here, as we shift the hands forward, we come to balance on the front leg. The back leg is just trying to be nice and level with the hip if possible. So not too much yet. We'll add a little bit of height for future variations, future additions and flows that we're doing in class today. Just feel this nice long spine lifting of the leg with that glute squeezing. One more good inhale. Exhale, this foot drops right down next to the other. Allow the spine to just release nice and heavy, giving it some extra time right here. With the next inhale, circle arms to the side, stretch up, arch back. Exhale, hands down to the heart. Drop the right hand to the right thigh. The left hand circles up and over so you can lean toward that right side. And rise back up, second side. Left hand drops down. Right hand circles up and over. And return. Good. Huge inhale. Circle the arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, a very long spine. Exhale, begin to plant the hands, even if you have to bend the knees to get there. Stepping back directly into downward facing dog. Hips lifting up high. Find more and more height in the hips. Maybe a little bit of pedaling of the legs out. Left leg begins to float all the way up to the sky. Step it forward and through. Going toward the left edge of the mat so that left hand can come onto the inside. We're at lizard pose shape. You can either stay with the back knee lifted, that strong variation, or start to drop the back knee down, maybe dropping elbows down as well. Return back up onto the hands. The foot heel toes its way toward closer to the center of the mat. We lift up the back knee. Let the hips sink low while the back knee stays lifted. Enjoy that extra stretch and strength going on at the same time. When your balance is ready for it, begin to take your weight onto the left foot, hands come forward, just staying on the ground. The back leg stays level, the foot floating level with the hip. Notice how it would be easy for me to start stacking the hip just because it kind of makes the bones take over rather than the muscles. That's not what we're going for. We're trying to keep the hip bones even with one another. So try to pull it down, not too low where you have to kind of rotate the knee toward, that left edge of the mat. Not that far. The knees pointing down, the toes are pointing down, the hips are level. Take another good inhale. Exhale, land both feet down. Spine relaxes heavy into the forward fold. Inhale, float all the way up, arch back, circle hands down to the heart. And once again, drop the right hand down to the right thigh, circle left hand up and over. Rising up, switch sides, left hand down, right hand over. And up. Beautiful. Circle both arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, long spine. Exhale, once again, hands front down. Even if you have to bend knees to get there, step the feet back toward downward facing dog. Directly here. Right leg begins to float all the way up to the sky. Step that right foot to the outside of right hand. From here, lower the back knee down. And for this variation, we're going to play with opening this right hip further out to the right. So we leave the left hand planted. This left hip sinks a little bit closer to the ground. We turn our torso over toward that right leg, even turning those right toes a little bit further off to the side. And then this right hand helps to push that right knee open, opening it further and further and further. Shoulders squaring back behind you. And let yourself continue to play with this. This doesn't have to stay static the whole time. That pushing against the knee can be kind of pulses if that feels better. Going in and releasing. in and releasing. Or maybe it's more about the shoulders, trying to wind all the way behind you. Just play with it. What feels good for a moment? Okay, so from here, we're beginning to come back up onto the hands, scooting this right foot more toward the center of the mat. Lift up the back knee. This time, when we shift forward, we're coming more toward the standing splits. So hands can still be forward. Usually we come slightly closer rather than further though. This left leg floats all the way up, just however high you can without hiking the hips up. And we'll do a little glute strengthening here. Those left toes barely touch the ground, lowering down, and then lift it as high as it can, nice and slow. Repeating 4, and up, 3, 2, 1. Lift it up. Plant both feet next to one another. Give your spine a chance to completely relax. Next inhale, we float the arms to the sides, stretch up, arch back. Exhale, hands down to the heart. Taking a back bend this time, hands go to the back part of the hips. Hips get pushed forward, trying to stay in that position. The shoulders lift up and arch back. The chin either stays toward the chest or you rest the head down onto that little pillow that the shoulders make. Another good breath in. Good exhale. Rising up, slide the hands to the front of the thighs. We're going to keep the spine straight, traveling as far down as we can, with that spine still in a very straight alignment. So maybe by about now, you're halfway down. If you can still slide down and keep the spine straight a little bit further, go to that spot. Wherever your straight angle is, pause. Take one more breath with the straightness. Exhale, let the hands plant all the way down. From here, we come back into a plank position, maybe just a nice kneeling plank for this first one. Squeeze the elbows in as we lower ourselves all the way to the ground. Take the back bend of your choice, does not have to be super deep. And a nice downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up high. Second side, left leg begins to float. Reach it up high. Step it to outside of left hand. Dropping the back knee down. We begin to turn the left toes to point off to that left edge. Left hand pushing that left knee open. Maybe the right hip getting a little bit closer to the ground. Find your variation, the one that's working very best for you today. Take another beautiful inhale and exhale. Return the toes pointing forward, even bringing that left foot inward a bit more. Lift the back knee up. We're shifting to prepare for the standing splits. Hands go just a little bit forward of the left foot. Float the right leg up. Try not to hike the hips open. And then 5 toe touches. Lower down. Lift up as high as you have the strength for. Repeating 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Plant both feet down. Feel your spine completely relaxing to gravity. gaining additional length with each repetition that we're doing. The next inhale helps us rise all the way up, circle arms to the side, stretch up, arch back. Hands come together in front of the heart. And from here, we take a little floating position. And so our left knee begins to float out in front of us. Try to find this simple balance. Keeping the hands together in front of the heart, start to kick this leg all the way back, like a nice warrior three, trying to find this balance. Land the toes into a nice lunge shape behind you. Arms sweep up to the sky, warrior one variation with the back heel lifted. And then from here, opening the arms to each side like airplane arms. Begin to lean forward until you're hovering your heart right above the thigh. Beautiful. We're going to try to shift our weight to balance on that right foot, launching ourselves into this airplane version of warrior three. And then float this left knee up, trying to find the balance, hands joining together in front of the heart again. Step that foot down. Second side, balancing on left foot, right knee begins to float. Keeping the hands at the heart, kick back, warrior three. Take your time finding that balance. Land the toes. That high lunge version of warrior one, arms sweeping all the way up to the sky. Hands open up to left and right. Begin to lean forward, heart hovering right above the thigh. When your balance is ready, shift your weight onto that left leg, launching directly into warrior three. Get your balance if you need to. Hands to the heart as the knee tries to float back up to that starting position. And drop the foot down. Hands to the low back, hips forward, arch the spine all the way up and back. Another good inhale. Exhale, gently rise up. Step the feet wide, turning the toes slightly inward. And from here, we go into a nice forward fold. That recovery after the back bend. Let the spine have this chance to relax up and over. Beginning to plant the hands in front of the face. We're going to shift back and forth between bending one knee and bending the other. So right knee bends, our hands go a little bit toward that right side so that this left leg gets lots of length. And then switching it out over, bending left knee, walking to the left. Let's take it a few more times, back and forth. One more time right. One more time left. Straighten both legs, bring the hands to the hips, roll our spine up, turning the toes outward, goddess pose, hands floating off to the left and to the right. And let's take 10 little pulses, pulsing the hips down just a little bit, and then back up just a little bit. This is a game of a couple of inches. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. From here, bring the hands to the hips. See if you can jump the feet all the way together. Coming back up to the top of the mat. Inhale, float all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands down, right foot lunges back. From here, the right hand is down, left hand circles up to the sky. Left hand plants down, step back into plank. Lower through chaturanga. Back bend of your choice. Downward facing dog. Right leg begins to float all the way up to the sky. Step the right foot forward in between the hands. Back heel rotates down. Bring this right hand to the inside of the right foot. Bringing the tricep right to that inner part of the knee. Left hand begins to stretch all the way up to the sky. Either stay in this variation or take a bind. The hands winding under that right thigh. One more good inhale. From here, exhale, unwind the arms. We're launching forward directly into warrior 3. So float that back leg. The arms begin to reach up by the ears. And then float this knee out in front of you. Left knee floating that bend shape. See if you can straighten that leg out using the strength of your muscles. Another good inhale. Exhale, bend this knee in, plant the foot down. Second side, inhale, circle up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands down. Left foot lunges back. Left hand stays down, right hand twists up to the sky. The hand comes down, we step back into plank. Shift forward, squeezing the elbows into lower chaturanga. A nice back bend. Downward facing dog. Left leg floats all the way up to the sky. Step that left foot forward and through. Back heel goes down to the earth. Left hand comes to the inside of left leg. We start to stack the shoulders. Right arm reaching up to the sky. Maybe taking the bind under that left thigh. Start to unwind the arms. Begin to prepare to balance on this left foot. Lifting the torso up, we're trying to bring the arms up by the ears. That warrior 3 shape. Once we're there, come up to stand, floating this right knee. Try to kick the right leg straight out in front of you, lifting it as high as you have that strength for. Another good inhale. Exhale, bend the knee, plant the foot. Good, stepping back to wide on the mat. So from here, we're going to do kind of a fun thing, going back and forth between the left and the right sides. Just see if you can, it might be a little bit of a brain teaser. See if you can kind of catch it the first time or two. If it takes you a little bit of time to figure it out, that's okay too. We bend forward, planting the hands onto the ground. As our hands walk over toward the right foot, the right toes swivel off to that right short edge of the mat. Left hand down, right hand twists up to the sky. The same shape we took a little while ago. The whole shoulder, everything's trying to spiral open. When that right hand comes down, you begin to swivel on the heels until we walk over to that left edge. Right hand down, left hand floats all the way up and back, and then down. Let's continue to flow back and forth just like that, walking over for the right foot, right hand up and back, and over toward left foot, up and back. Once more each side, all the way to the right, and all the way to the left. Beautiful. Find ourselves at that position right in the center. With both legs getting to be extended long. Try to walk the hands under and through the legs. Getting ourselves just a little bit closer toward the legs themselves. Walking the hands back in front of us. Start to heel toe the feet a little bit closer. They're going to end up a bit wider than the hips, about as wide as your mat is. Turning the toes out to the side. Start to sit down. Our Malasana pose squat. If the total squat is too much for the knees, be up in a half squat, and that's okay also. Posture's trying to lift up tall. Begin to slow down the breath. You're welcome to just stay here, or if you're taking a bind with me, we slide our right shoulder closer to the right knee. Right hand drops down, left hand twists up, or wraps all the way around that right shin. And you clasp behind it, rotate the shoulders over. Unwind, and then back through the center, Malasana. Left shoulder down, left hand down, right hand all the way reaching up, or maybe try to take that bind. Good. Unwind. We're back through the center, long spine. Another good inhale. And then exhale, fingers start to plant in front of us. We're going to begin to heel toe the feet together until inner thighs can be squeezing. We're kind of in this low squat position. From here, we're just going to take a little moment of playtime as we try to head toward a side throw. So our right hand plants off to the right, the elbow coming in toward that hip. The left hand plants such that the elbow is connecting to the inner part of the knee. From here, as we begin to create a shelf for our torso to rest on, for our hips to rest on, you can start to lean over kind of like a chaturanga. Maybe the toes stay on the ground the whole time, or maybe you have a moment where the toes float. This is one where it is safe to set the head down. If you want to try just going that far, floating back up, see if you can find this little balance squat as we roll our wrists out for a moment. And then second side, planting both hands off to that left side. Elbow connecting toward the knee and toward the hip. Fingers spreading wide. I'm even turning the hands outward just a little bit. So that way it gives me a little bit more of a surface area to work with. I lift up, sending the hip all the way onto it. Gaze past where you would land your head. So gazing further. Maybe one set of toes lifts. Maybe both. Maybe play with setting the head down for a moment, or find just that kind of half balance. Take another breath with it. When we come out of it, wind your hands around toward whatever you consider the top edge of your mat, stepping up directly into downward facing dog. Maybe adding a flow if you wish. Shifting forward, lowering down, back of your choice. Downward facing dog. Right leg floats all the way up to the sky. Step it under and through for pigeon pose. The back knee scoots backwards if there's more space for it. Remember, we're not resting on the right hip. We're not collapsing onto the left hip. We're in that perfectly balanced spot in between. And here we can come down onto the elbows. To walk the right hand a little bit further to the right and the left hand to the left. They're both pretty far off the mat. This is helping us lean forward like that airplane floating shape. And so from here, we're going to rotate the left shoulder inward and try to drop that left shoulder down. And then rise back up to square shoulders. Right shoulder rotates inward and drops down a little bit. And come back up. One more time each shoulder, left. And right. Planting the hands, tuck the back toes. See if you can lift all the way up to three-legged dog, right leg floating. Plant that right foot down, left leg floats. Step it under and through, pigeon, back knee scoots back. Begin to lower into sleeping pigeon. Back to that tented finger shape. Right hand to the right, left hand to the left. We're floating our heart above the thigh. And from that floating shape, we rotate the right shoulder down and forward. And then back up, shoulders square. Left shoulder down and forward. One square. Once more each shot side. Right shoulder. And left shoulder. Good. Unwind, plant the hands, tuck the back toes. Three-legged dog, left leg floating all the way up. When you set that one down, take a moment just to drop down, enjoying a nice moment with a child pose. Walking the hands up, we find ourselves sitting down. We've got three options for our legs here, so just take the option that works for you. Option 1, right leg in front, cross-legged. Option 2, right shin on top. Option 3, right knee on top. So choose your variation. With the legs like this, we're going to take eagle's arm for the arms. So right elbow under left elbow. If the hands come up, you're either touching backs of the hands together, you're giving yourself a hug, or you're completely winding the palms around one another. Find your arms in a position that stretches through the shoulders, maybe jutting elbows forward, rounding the spine back, or maybe straightening the spine, lifting elbows up, pushing shoulders down. That one's my personal favorite. Another good breath here. And then unwind the hands, planting them down, begin to lean forward. to any degree. This is just however open you are. Rising up, we lean back, do a fun little pinwheel with our legs as we switch them out. Again, cross-legged, shin stacked, or left knee stacking on top. Your preference based on your body right now. With this left leg on top, left elbow is under. You can do the hug version, backs of hands together, or wind the palms. And play with the version you took before. Are you rounding your spine? Or are you lifting elbows up and pushing shoulders down? Just play with what opens you in the most delicious possible way. Another really good inhale. Exhale, begin to unwind, dropping the hands down, lean forward to any degree. When we come back up, lean back. We'll do the pinwheel thing just to bring our legs back to neutral. And from here, we're gently lowering all the way down onto our spine, one vertebrae at a time. Taking a moment with bridge pose, slide the feet into plant. Squeezing the knees inward so that the knees stay level, stay as open as the hips are. We begin to lift up the tailbone, lift up the hips, rising up one vertebrae at a time. You can clasp hands behind the back. You can walk shoulders under and through. Let's find 3 more breaths right here. This last chance for the hips to be away from the earth. Inhale. Exhale, release the hands, release the shoulders, roll all the way down. Last pose, happy baby. Reaching the outside edges of the feet. You can absolutely play like a baby does with their feet. You can rock around left and right, straightening legs up and down. Just finding stillness is absolutely fine too. Maybe that's where the hips need the most help. This is going to be up to you when you're ready to come down from this. Some of us might be feeling complete already, in which case find your beautiful Shavasana, whatever version works for you today. Those of us that want a few more breaths, feel free to play around and just enjoy this openness. Taking another beautiful breath into the body. If you're ready to release now, begin to take that beautiful Shavasana. If you still want a little bit more time, that's okay. Join Shavasana when you're ready, letting this breath flow through us. Deep, deep inhales, wonderful open exhales. Begin to deepen the inhales and deepen the exhales. Introducing little movements back to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching out like we're waking up first thing in the morning. Eventually taking a nice fetal position off to one side, one hip stacking on top of the other hip. When you're ready, press your way all the way up toward a seated position. Joining the hands together in front of the heart. And we take a moment to connect into how we feel, connecting in toward our intention. Thinking it to ourselves, this kapha energy, the slugginess, the wanting to just rest all the time. This is here for a reason. We need that to balance us off, otherwise we burn ourselves out day by day. So the kapha is not bad. In fact, there's some ancient cultures that I've read about that every 50 years was a year of jubilee where nobody worked for the entire year. They would save up stores of food so that everybody could just take a year off. And so this restful time is not bad. Always let yourself be in it. But at the same time, we make sure that we don't make sluggishness our habit for every day, for every season of our life. We have moments of rest, and we also have moments when we can get up and get moving, get out and go. And so with this idea of bringing our kapha into balance, with this energy that we've gained in our body through this practice to carry us into this beautiful day, we're going to wrap up this wonderful time we got to share together with the sound of Om. Inhaling together now. Om. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.